of the Smoke and Mirrors podcast. This is Rob, Dave, and Triz, and we're giving you this week's episode. We're giving you our takes on the first look at Stephen King's Boogeyman. Will Smith's coming back for a whole bunch of sequels. We got who's going to actually play MJ in the biopic. It kind of looks similar to who we thought it was going to be. Um, James Gunn actually came through this week after being threatened by politicians that if he doesn't release the DCU slate, he's gonna get shafted. Plus, we'll give you our episode of the our thought from the episode 3 of The Last of Us. Let's start the show. How we living there, fellas?
That was good, man. That was really good.
Yeah.
Kicking it old school, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Nice shorty shorts there. Got the footy shorts on, mate.
Yeah.
Bloody hot today, man. What's today?
Yeah, it was 30.
Yeah.
Out in Penrith out there, it was like 35.
And whoop whoop, mate.
Yeah.
No,
Even-
thank you was what it was.
Even worse, my mate is out in like Luddenham area, which is still like 30 minutes away from the roof.
No,
It's rough in them streets, Doug.
no, we don't get down like that. Not out here. I need to be at least like 30 minutes away from water. That's got to be. That's got to be.
They got the public pools out there.
But O's got their first pair of pajamas for their 30th in years. I've been sleeping in pajamas. You know, how civilized I feel.
I was lay them out at the start of the day so they air out a little bit.
I put them under my pillow, dog, folded. You know,
You realize that was a big issue of contention a couple of weeks ago on the internet.
What do you mean?
Posted up. Do you change and wash your pajamas every day, or do you only what's his face, or do you wear them for a few days and then wash them?
I'll wear them out for a few days.
For me, it's the shower cycle. If you and O that showers every night, I think you can get away with getting 2 days play out of that pajamas, unless you have the filthiest night. You know what I mean? Let's get like the little happy tissues on the side of the bed. You got to wash those shits the next day. But if you and O that just keeps it clean, like showers, sleeps, change the next day, I think you're good for 2 days play.
But at the same time, you don't know if you're one of them O's who goes commando in the PJs as well, because that also warrants a wash possibly every day or second. You might have those shots during the night when you're sleeping.
I've never sharded during the night. And my life is way too dull to be having them wet dreams. You know what I mean?
What do you call it? I remember having a stomach bug when I was young and vomiting so hard that I sharded.
Jesus.
Take both ends, huh?
That was back when we had those silk shorts. Remember the PJs where it was silk like that? You know how slippery it was.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a good idea.
It was
Yeah,
horrible.
not me.
Yeah, silk underwear is just not it.
But them silk on the outside, but they got like some like really rough material on the inside, and that's just a vibe with it.
Yeah,
Not at all.
it's disgusting. Anyway, we're gonna start off with the first part of our news. So, Boogeyman, we got our first trailer for Boogeyman. So it went through basically all the stages of the Boogeyman. So it starts with this chick laying in bed. She's got a little night. It's weird. It's like a wireless nightlight. I've never seen
Orb
that
type
before.
thing.
Yeah, it was weird. She basically looks, it's all dark, goes through, turns on the light. Something runs out of her closet because the closet door had opened by itself. I would have been out the room already.
Same.
And then continues to dangle upside down, look under the bed, continues to roll the orb under the bed, sees the monster under the bed. No, thank you. And then it's like all the other, hide and seek sort of movies where the father's investigating and is this real and all this other stuff. And yeah, you get a little brief glimpse of that boogeyman in the back there. It's weird. It's got like little tentacle face as well.
Mm.
Almost
Yeah.
predator. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the shot when she does look under the bed, how it flips with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was very Rob Cohen, early 2000s.
It's also giving me Looper vibes when he falls off the fire escape.
Yeah.
Someone else did that recently and it was terrible. I think it was like Fast and Furious or something. And someone like laid down and then turned around and the camera turned around with them and they were shooting and it was terrible.
That's
But
Jack
yeah.
Reacher.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, so I was enjoying the trailer and everything. It was great. It felt scary. It looked like it was gonna be scary. And then the credits started coming up, and then at the bottom of the screen, there's a big old PG-13 rating. I just lost all interest for this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it started off as a streamer movie. So you would think R-rated straight away, or they wouldn't have a rating restriction.
Hmm.
Yeah. Not a big fan of PG-13 horror.
PG-13 horror does not make sense. How does it make sense? Have we ever seen a good PG-13 horror though? Tell us down in the comments.
The Ring? Wasn't that M? Oh no, that was R in the States. Never mind.
R in the States, M rated over here.
Drag Me to Hell was PG-13 in the States.
Drag Me to Hell was PG-13 in the States.
Sam Raimi gets the pass though. That guy usually kills it with horror.
I think
Yeah.
Drag Me to Hell might be the one. It might be
Yeah.
the only one.
That scared me for days too.
Yeah.
To be honest, maybe even months.
True. Yeah, because months after that, the Blu-ray came out, and we got it straight away. Obviously,
Unrated.
Yeah, it looks all right. I didn't like that they gave the monster away straight away.
Yeah,
'Cause I just paused it. You know what I mean? I was like, "There's the monster."
yeah.
You can
I'm
see
hoping
where
it's
his heart
shape-
breaks.
I'm hoping it's a shape-shifting monster, so it looks different to everyone, so that what we're seeing is not really the fucking monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting real sinister vibes as well.
Yeah.
The whole father, and as soon as you said the father investigator, I was as well, and then it's like, oh, we got a specialist in the boogeyman department. You know what I mean? At this college, and then the person that is tracking you can kill you. Dun dun. Yeah, but
But
you know, it could be a surprise.
I'm hoping it's a surprise.
for me, I don't think anything like really is going to beat any form of boogeyman except for what's that thing's name from The Conjuring 2?
The Nun.
No, not the nun. The other thing that they talk about, and you see him unfold like that in that friggin' outhouse when the kid's checking everything.
Oh, the what's his face man. I know what you're talking about.
Crooked Man?
Yeah, the Crooked Man. That would have been mad as like just a boogeyman movie.
I can move fast.
They were going to do that. That was going to be one of the potential spin-offs for the Conjuring series.
Would have been fun.
And then they just I
Maybe
don't
this was the script, and they were just like in the trash, and this guy picked it up and he was like,
just changed Crooked Man for a Boogeyman.
crooked boogie. That would be
Some guy was just dancing past him. I love that boogie, man.
you know that
All right,
stupid little dance that he does.
So the main objective of this trailer was just to get asses in seats. Does it do it for you? You turning up? You rocking up to the theater week 1,
no,
week 2?
no.
This is a wait for streamer movie.
It's a streamer movie.
Okay,
You
all right.
want me to come see your movie? It's going to be on streamer because that's where it should have came out in the first place. You saw the horrors get hot now, but it's literally R-rated horror that's getting hot now. Like these others just don't read the room, man.
Yeah. I mean, Smile was this. This is what these O's is trying to replicate now. Smile actually had that same route of I'm going to streamer. Oh shit. I'm at the box office now.
Yeah.
Off one test screening.
Is Paranormal Activity a PG-13 movie?
I think it might be actually.
Yes, I think it might be. Yeah,
Hmm.
because there's only one fuck. They only get one fuck off in there.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
for
could be the one.
themes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a PG-13.
Thought so.
Wait, no. This one was rated R for language.
Okay.
That don't count.
Nah.
Yeah. All right. So we got our other trailer of the week, which is
What was it?
Big George Foreman. Pause. Worst bloody title for a movie. Why not Foreman? Just call it Foreman, mate.
Yeah.
As if nobody on the planet knows what Foreman you're talking about. So this looks like it chronicles George's his rise from winning the, I think it's 1968 Olympic Games, winning the gold, mind you, going all the way through, bringing down the bear, or who did the black satellite? Damn it,
James Tony.
Tommy
might have been,
Hearns.
might have been James. No, not Tommy Hearns. It might have been James Tony. Fighting James Tony, beating James Tony, basically becoming heavyweight champion of the world, and then flying out to Zaire to fight. What's his face? Fight Ali. This guy doesn't really look like Ali. That's playing Ali, but anyway.
No.
Losing to Ali, figuring out, hey, I've got like heart problems or something like that. Basically dying in his locker room, essentially for like 2-3 minutes, coming back to life, becoming a preacher, which I didn't know about George. Like
Me neither.
Like that's new to me. I didn't know that. I thought he was just mean the whole time. And what's his face? And then him sort of starting a gym. It looks like starting a gym, having a family, and eventually, like most boxers, unless you're Floyd, running out of money. And the only way that he can sort of make money is to go fight again. So this is George Foreman returning. It's obviously his return to the ring the first time, when he was the oldest heavyweight on the planet.
Yeah.
And then becoming the oldest heavyweight champion of the world, which is like beautiful. I love that. We saw that just recently with in the UFC with Glover Teixeira fighting Jan Blachowicz for the first time and winning at like 42 years old, winning light heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I mean, Glover just lost recently, but still, it was amazing. And he retired at 43 years old.
That's wild.
A beast. He's a beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks good, this movie. You got Forrest Whitaker in there. Another boxing movie for Forrest.
Yeah.
Looks like these movies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boxing themes in what's his face? Godfather Harlem. So they show that first fight that Ali has when he's still Cassius.
Okay.
And he fights, I think, but it's not Buster Douglas. That was he fights it's the fight before he wins the title and becomes Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But yeah, doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it actually looks all right. Like, it looks like there's a lot of boxing in there.
That's what some of these boxing movies miss out on. But I didn't see no training montage, my friend.
Me neither.
You can't have a boxing movie without a training montage.
Yeah. And it looks like that last fight, he kind of just went, fuck it. You know what I mean?
That last fight, I mean, not the last fight where he wins the championship, but that first fight when his comeback fight, he takes that O out with one punch, man.
That's wild.
Foreman came out there and just battered the O.
One punch man.
Yeah, one time. They went down.
Is that what they based the Great White Hype off?
No. the great white hype is Rocky Marciano.
Hmm.
When they actually before they can, because they didn't consider Italians white back in the day in America. Yeah, they were basically second class citizens themselves,
Jesus.
along with the Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
Wow.
thought of
crazy when you think
I
about
thought of Wayans when he comes out and he's just fat like that.
There might have been some inspiration. Is this getting you in the theater?
Probably not, man. I think we're going to be all boxed out by the time March rolls around and Creed 3 comes out.
That is true. It's
Yeah.
very, very true. I don't usually show up for boxing movies as well, unless it's like Rocky, Creed, something like that.
Unless it's Rocky or Creed, like I haven't shown up. Dude.
Mm.
I didn't even see the last Rocky at the movies.
Yeah, that's true. Neither did I.
But it was weird because it came out. Like we ascertained that
A dubious copy. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. On to some other exciting news there. So Jennifer Aniston and Julia Roberts are teaming up for a movie directed by Max Barbacow, who directed Palm Springs. That cool with Christina Milioti and
Willem Dafoe.
Brooklyn Nine.
Oh, Andy Samberg.
Andy
Say his name from the
Samberg, that's
show.
what it is. Yeah. So this one got picked up by Amazon Studios, so it's dropping straight on the streamer. Yeah.
What do you call it? I didn't mind Palm Springs, so
Me neither.
I might come out for this.
So
But
this
it's
people-
it's like a body swap movie.
yeah.
Freaky Friday was my jam.
My boo.
You know that guy's in what's his face? That guy's Bibu was in. I don't even know his name.
So,
He's in Godfather of Harlem.
Really?
oh wow.
Who's that crazy guy? Crazy Joe Gallo. He's playing Crazy Joe Gallo.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
because the last time I ever saw that guy was Jack Reacher,
Yeah.
and it was weird to not hear him with the accent. Threw me off, man. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
So-
the last swap sorry, just quickly. The last
Okay.
body swap movie we saw was with what's his face? Jason Bateman and Olivia Wilde. Yeah.
Oh.
Last one I seen was Freaky
Oh, Freaky,
with Vince
yeah.
Vaughn,
Hmm.
which is all right. Wasn't bad, that one.
Oh, I am also partial to the song Freaky Friday with Lil Dicky and Chris Brown.
Jeez.
That's a mustard beat too.
Mustard on the beat.
Oh.
Alrighty. So we got a report from ABC News that said from mid-2024, the federal government is going to require for major streaming platforms to put some of their revenue back into Australian content. So it's still all being negotiated right now, and it's between like actual streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, as well as the Australian TV and film sector. This has been tried before, and the last time they tried this, they asked for 20% of that revenue to be put back into Australian content, which when you look at the actual revenue received for these platforms is massive.
Yeah. They're fucking dreaming if they're going to get 20%.
Yeah. And well, moving into that as well, this would almost put it in line with the airing, just free to air television with everything happening there as well. So it sounds like to me, like the back end of this is that they're trying to put that revenue into Australia after almost like losing their consumers to paid subscription services,
Yeah, that's right.
which sounds just wild to me.
I'd do
Yeah.
that deal. I'd do that deal.
Yeah.
I would. And you know why? Because I'd be like, yep, you're getting 20%, but you will get 20% off the amount of streams that that show makes. So if that show makes 200,000 streams, you get maybe $1.75. That's what you're getting. That's it.
Well, that was one of
That's
the
what you're getting.
things. They were like, if they're not happy with having to like be, well, they can't be forced, but if they agree to it, they might just start pulling shows off Australian air, reducing their revenue. That's one of the things that could happen, and that's up to the major streaming platforms. That's their choice. They could just be like, yeah, all that Australian content will take about 80% of it and just not air it.
No, what they need to do is start investing in shows that Australians actually want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Australians don't want to watch Neighbours at 6:30 or Home and Away at 8 o'clock. Like it's not what we want to watch. You see the caliber of shows that are on these streamers. That's what we want now. You had a movie last year called The Dry, 2 years ago called The Dry, that came out that was amazing. And people wanted to watch that movie. Even people in the US wanted to watch that movie because they showed up in the bloody cinemas.
Yeah.
Right? And that's with an all Aussie cast. It was all shot here. It
Yeah.
was with Aussie filmmakers. No. they won't put that out.
Yeah.
Like they don't get it. This is the stuff that people want to watch. We have so much history here that they could cover. Like, be it our our street gangsters and all that with bloody Underbelly and all that. Yeah, we've seen it in Underbelly, but make it new. People like that sort of content. They need to put out stuff that people actually want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why North Korea, or not North Korea, fucking hell, South Korea, their shows are on fire right now because it's got universal appeal.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm gonna buy another season of Squid Games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna make a Parasite TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do all these things. I'm gonna friggin' game show. You know what I mean? Because people will turn up for that.
Yeah.
And it's universally acclaimed, but I haven't seen anything from Australia that will have that universal appeal. And I'd love to.
But you know what they should do? Like honestly, what would match over here is if they did a Chopper series. Where's the Chopper series? The last movie from here that had universal appeal was that movie. And Andy Dominic went on to be like one of the. I mean, he directed bloody Brad Pitt in Ad Astra. Not Ad Astra.
War Machine.
War Machine.
Yeah, he just directed Blonde last year.
Directed Blonde.
Yeah,
like he's a massive bloody director. Of course, he'd prefer to shoot stuff here. I don't know what we're doing. We don't make it appealing enough for directors to stay in this country to make content for this country.
Yeah, but they'll take the stars though.
Oh yeah,
we'll get the Mel Gibsons, the Rusties.
Yeah.
Even though Rusty's like NZ's son, you know what I mean?
So
So church it up. But the Hemsworths as well.
Yeah.
Massive.
I don't know. It feels like whenever there is a big star who's just made it out of Australia, everyone has to tack it on. He's Australian, by the way. Please love us.
Hey, I do it as well.
Hey, look,
But I'm Australian.
But what I'm trying to say is like that they could almost try and like force them to be gambling chips, which is stupid too. I'm like, come on, man.
Like you could see like Margot Robbie is a good example, right? She lives permanently in New York. I want to live here. I love Australia, but I can't live anywhere else but New York. It's crazy.
It's true.
But I also think like I don't want to travel so far for work at the same time. So I can imagine she's like, well, yeah, I'll stay on the East Coast there.
Really? I'd make them fly me out private everywhere they needed me. Straight up. Sorry. You want me? That's what Hemsworth does.
That 19-hour flight to LA killed me.
Can you imagine that 19-hour flight in a private jet?
Luxury, dog. Luxury changes everything.
If I could vape, I'm all right.
Dude, they smoke weed and everything on those flights. They don't care.
O's be rolling up, mist coming out the doors when you arrive in LA.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have a smoking section and everything. You know I get down.
You could have a fire like 3-course meal when you're up there as well. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dog.
It's catered for. That's what they cater for. That's built into the price.
Yeah.
As well as your 2 pilots, as well as your stewardess.
Hmm.
Or steward, I should say. Air steward.
Air stewardess or steward, yeah.
Yeah.
Be fire. Because like just imagine having the luxury to be able to be like, you can have whatever you want, sir. You could literally just be like, I want cornflakes, but I want it in a gold bowl.
I watched Andrew Tate just say, yeah, we want fried chicken on our flight. And it wasn't some microwave disgusting fried chicken. It was proper fried chicken. Yeah. Free the top G. All right. Man, they haven't done anything. They've been held against their will. They're US citizens. They're white males.
I am not going to get into it about. I don't follow enough of the man's content to say, hey, like, you know, he's an innocent man or he's guilty. You know what I mean? And I'm never going to sit on Greta Thunberg's dick. Ever.
Fuck Greta too.
You should watch that podcast that he was on, that 5-hour one. What's that guy's name? I forget.
Pat David.
Yeah, that's the one. That podcast is really good. Yeah.
Anyway.
Actually, sorry, Doug, you go.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Dean Morgan, this is real quick anyway. Jeffrey Dean Morgan came through, posted a picture on his Instagram from Invincible. Amazon confirmed, yes, he is going to be voicing a mystery player in Invincible. And that's all the news that we have there.
Also, Anya Taylor-Joy confirmed 2 is not coming. Someone just hacked her account on Twitter. That was it. It's did since 2019. That's what she said. Direct quote.
It needs to be like English and then switch to Australian and then switch to American. Like that's got an Andrew Tate bloody accent. It's just
fuck.
As well as that, so Jordan Peele was on the cards to direct the Akira live action, but then also decided not to. And that was simply because he was just too passionate about the source material that he didn't want to ruin it.
I read your script. I read your song. And I decided not to do it and get on with my life.
You know, the smoke and mirrors of this shit is they weren't going to give him a big budget for anything because he wanted a all Japanese cast and to shoot it in Japan. And they went, no, thank you. I'll spend my $2 on Avengers Endgame.
What do you mean? I will spend my $250 million on something that just has no heart, has no story.
Yeah.
Is just part of another cog in the bloody wheel.
It's gonna
and
be
after Ghost in the Shell, yeah, after that just crashed and burned on impact. Whenever they add the on impact, it bombed on impact. It's just wild.
Yeah, on impact for me is the same as like full blown.
Yeah. And totally.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this was never like, I don't know how Taker's gonna do it.
He's not. The man's not going to do it.
No.
It'll change directors like it's changed directors in the past and just get passed around.
Robert Rodriguez.
yeah, exactly.
It's been years, man. They might as well just cut the whole thing. Like, it's done. They've gone through like 7 directors already. You can have the baby or not.
I'd be happy if they did, and then like the original Japanese animation company gets it back, and then they make the live action.
I'd be cool with that. Just watch. We're gonna hear news like 2027 when the trailer for Ghost of Tsushima comes out and announces its 2030 release. We're gonna hear word that Chad Stahelski is gonna be attached to make the Akira movie.
Watch how big if that movie's huge, like I think it probably will be, because it has worldwide appeal, and it's like the subject matter is like, a worldwide subject matter.
Hmm.
Um, that movie is gonna hit big,
Hmm.
and then everyone's gonna start making Japanese films,
Yeah.
Japanese adaptations. Maybe we'll finally get Ninja Gaiden or something like that.
If McTeague did Ninja Gaiden,
Mm,
it would have been fire.
Fuck yeah.
yeah. All right. So last week we told you that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was directing, or she's going to be writing for the Tomb Raider TV show that's coming out on Amazon. Amazon themselves came through this week and said, "Hey, we got movies coming too." But it looks like, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna, like, they did talk about some big giant Tomb Raider universe that they want to flesh out.
Yeah.
I hate the universe, God.
Same. As soon as they make anything a universe, it's dirt to me.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously a cash grab.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't deserve a universe.
That's right. You just fucking, I don't know, use that creativity for the next chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plan the shit out. Because all you're doing is milking at this point.
Even with this universe, they were like, hey, maybe we'll even do a game that goes in with the story of this universe.
Oh God, Amazon and games do not mix, my friends.
Nope.
What do you mean? What happened with the
They,
T on that?
they had their own little games company set up and everything over there. They put
Yeah.
out a game. It was like, really acclaimed for about a week. Someone went in there and messed with the game to try and get more money. It was like microtransactions galore. Within the next week, that game was dead. Nobody was playing that game.
Wow. Okay.
And I just want to put it out there. Anyone who says New World is an Amazon game, it's not.
Hmm.
That game was bought by Amazon after it was done.
Ooh. Fire rises. Jeffrey Bezos. All right. Some more streaming news there. So Paramount Plus and Showtime are actually merging.
Hmm.
They've been talking about this for a while, but it's finally happened. And with that, Paramount Plus was like, all right, cool, but there are some shows that we cannot abide.
Yeah.
Two of them, like, I'm fine with, but there was one really sort of cut me deep. So 3 Women is getting axed.
Hmm.
American Gigolo, although off to a strong start at the start of that series,
For obvious
just
reasons.
fell off completely. So I'm happy with that one too. That one can like sit in the bin with 3 Women. But there was one that showed so much promise, and that was Let the Right One In, which is also now getting axed. And they left it open at the end. Like there are big cliffhangers in that shit. So now I'm gonna have to wonder, like, what the fuck is happening with Ellie and Mark? It just, it shits me.
I'll put it all out there for you, dog. This is the easiest way that I cut off all shows. It was Stefano. Now move on.
So just shows up in the shadows. Dun, dun.
With that filthy painted on Cody.
Fucking hell. That was the thing that differentiated him between Days of Our Lives and Bold and the Beautiful was the goatee.
Yeah.
How
Friggin'
dare
hell.
you. There's Jennifer Aniston's dad in there.
Yeah.
Victor Kiriakis. I believe his name was.
This guy up on the daytime soaps, is it, mate?
From like, maybe 97.
I know, I was just stored it back there.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Go on.
So we also got Jafar Jackson, which is Jermaine's second kid. You laughing through your completely.
It's Jafar. Jafar.
But it's 2 A's as well. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing this wrong or not. Is it Jafar or like
Is it Jafar? Is it Jafar? Jafar? Jafar?
Jafar?
I'm pretty
away?
sure I'm pretty sure Jermaine just tried to church it up and it's just Jafar.
All right.
Or it's Jaffa.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe it
this.
means something.
But he's actually going to play MJ in the Anton Fuqua biopic. So even the mother was like, reminds me of Jermaine.
Yeah,
Yeah, he looks more Jermaine than he does Michael.
Yeah,
he does.
You can see Jermaine straight away.
So I kind of went from this story, then I did a little bit of investigating, right? So he's an O that just like he's more artistic and kind of he wants to I think direct more than he actually wants to act.
Right.
So I think that's the pathway into it. You know what I mean? Like he only just followed into the family business basically. But he sounds pretty interesting. I've listened to a couple of his songs. He's only got one song out at the moment on Apple Music or Spotify. And that song was all right. Definitely not MJ levels.
Mm.
And the dancing that he does, like he can move, but it's not MJ moves. You know what I
Nobody can
mean?
do that.
It's
Unless
not
it's just
sharp, nothing. Like those backup dancers was dancing all over him.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. You
But-
have to be better than your backup dancers.
But the vocals, he's got that same MJ kind of sound. And
Okay.
to me, like that tone, I think he's a tenor. But that casting to me says off the wall, that period.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, will they de-age him for young Michael, or will they cast that? And does that then say that the movie itself will be set from off the wall? So it's missing all that family drama. And if it's a Jackson, which it is, they're obviously not going to go into the dirt. You know what I mean?
Those biopics then.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
Not that I want dirt on MJ or the Jackson family at all, but there are some truths that need to be told. And that's to me, the casting doesn't guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what is he gonna do? Like, there's no way he's gonna talk badly about his grandfather
Or his uncle or his dad.
or his dad. You're right. But Antoine had a bit more bloody, back
Guff about him.
I think it's after what you said about the writer for this movie. How he was the writer for Bo Rap as well.
Oh, the producer.
The producer, Graham King, yeah.
Yeah.
But the O that's writing it is John Logan. And this O has got chops.
Yeah.
He did Bond for how many years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we just got to wait like a little bit. Maybe like they've really like, because they noted down that this is Jermaine's second son in the article, as in like, maybe they'll get like another Jackson to play young Michael or something. But I don't know.
We'll see.
So maybe his first son's probably like 80 years old right now. Nobody even knows how old Jermaine is.
Jermaine's just a vampire.
But Jermaine always wears the same suit and shirt to every interview he goes to.
Yeah.
Might just be Louis.
All right. So Will Smith came through this week. Two big announcements. First, we had reports saying that Aladdin 2 is going ahead. Will Smith is coming back as the genie. Supposedly, he wants a bigger role in there. I don't know how when he's free, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. As well as he posted a video of him driving and saying basically, I wish I could be you when I show you what you're going to see right now. And then he pulls up to Martin Lawrence's house. They hug and everything, and then they say it's about time, and then Bad Boys 4 is Bad Boys Forever. We're calling it now.
Yep.
Bad Boys Forever. It's basically going to start shooting soon. So Will Smith is still doing big things.
He is, man. Can't stop that guy. Bad Boys is it's always been a fun sort of franchise for me. Apparently for Aladdin, they're gonna go into the 40 Thieves or something like that.
Yeah, that's the was it at the one of the
1001 Nights.
1001 Nights, right? So 1001 Nights. I watched something the other day. So 1001 Nights was based on this king, right? So this king came through, married this chick. This chick was unfaithful, right? Gets rid of her, obviously. This is back in the day. This king from that day forward would marry one night and then kill that wife after a week. It got to the point where he met this one girl, and every night she would tell him like these really like exotic stories and really like action packed stories and stuff like that. And those stories are basically what makes up the 1001 Nights. So that's how she got to last longer than everyone else in the in every one of his wives. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
Wild story. But yeah, those stories is the very first compilation of stories that we had in the world were those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The English translation for this is Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
This is that compendium.
Well, Alibaba had them 40 thieves. All right. So, since we got the green light last September about a Constantine 2 actually coming through with Keanu Reeves, Francis Lawrence, and unfortunately Akiva Goldsman writing the script there, there's been not some movement, but Keanu basically said how he got it done. And doing an interview with Total Film for John Wick Chapter 4, well, it was really just me nagging the execs at Warner for years. I want to play this role. I want to play this role. And he said, like, I just want to spend more time as the character. Me personally, I don't know, like, if Keanu Reeves takes the characters that seriously. The movements and the action, yes, but, the actual sort of character development, it kind of feels like he plays the same character throughout. However, in Constantine was probably one of the few times where he really shines. Like, you get Devil's Advocate. Constantine is definitely one of them where he showed a bit more emotion, remorse, and anger and shit like that. It's just a more subdued kind of approach to it because, he's old as fuck in there.
Yeah, we got to see Keanu play a character that at the start of that movie, like, you didn't really like. Like, he's a bit of a dick in that movie.
He is.
It's very
Best Keanu.
Go on.
You go. No, you go.
It's a very, very different performance to everything else that he does. You know what I mean? Where be it a rom-com or something like that, you always like his character.
Yeah. And Street Kings.
And Street Kings as well works really, really well.
True. I'm actually due for a Street Kings watching as well.
When you watch it, I was actually surprised by Reeves in there because he is that unlikable guy.
Yeah.
Because he's a dirty cop.
Yeah.
But for me, my favorite Reeves performance is not what's his face, Devil's Advocate. It's Bill and Ted. That's the most animated you've ever seen Reeves and in character.
Was that before the accident?
Yeah, before the accident, before the spinal surgery. So he's actually like doing the movements. He's got like the trick hip and knee and everything kind of going at the same time there.
The Lego pieces are all spinning.
Now, for me, it's always going to be Devil's Advocate. I win. That's what I do.
Taylor Hackford worked that boy. I swear.
Yeah,
I swear he worked him up to like a fever. He had to.
Put him in bloody, what's East Los? With all the cholos. That's what he did. I find it weird that Taylor Hackford directed, what's his face say? He directed Blood In, Blood Out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love that. I love that scene where he's talking about Theron, and he's like, what happens if I step away she gets better, and I hate her for it.
Yeah,
Like that.
that's some real truth.
Man.
I also like that Reeves actually does the cry in there.
I'm gonna be honest, big dogs. Oz has been so traumatized from watching Devil's Advocate that I've never watched Devil's Advocate.
Fire.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember coming home one day. I forgot where I was, but I came home and Oz was watching, and it was the scene where someone's brushing that lady's hair, and then in the reflection, it just changes. And I was like, ah! Just got the fuck out, man. Alrighty. So, really big piece of news was, like we said, James Gunn has finally unveiled the slate for the DCU, as well as some other pieces on the back end of that as well.
Yep.
I'm just going to quickly, run through it. So we got Creature Commandos, which is an animated series. As well as that, we have Waller, and Viola Davis is coming back, and this is a TV series too. Now, we have the Superman Legacy movie. So this does have a release date as well of July 11th in 2025. And this is going to be the live action Superman movie. And this is where they said this is going to be the start of the DCU. This is where everything's going to sort of kick off from here. And then as well as that, which I thought was interesting, was Lanterns, where we'll get both Jon Stewart as well as Hal Jordan. And they'll be going through, it's almost like a True Detective type mystery that they'll be doing.
All right.
That's going to be a TV series, so we get to flesh that out a bit, which is cool, because I do want some time more so with Jon Stewart than I do with Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan. We get The Authority as well. I've never ever heard of this, but this is another film being put into the slate. We get Paradise Lost, which is another live action TV series. So it looks like we're following a bit of a trend where we're getting a series and a movie here as well.
Yep.
And this Paradise Lost is going to be about Themyscira before Wonder Woman. So we're going to flesh out Themyscira a lot there. We get The Brave and the Bold, which is going to be the next Batman movie. Bold and beautiful. But what do you call it?
Bold.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was just expecting Dale to show up as Batman or something.
I've got comments which I'll say after when the cameras were off. But what do you call it? But this is going to be the Batman movie, and it's not going to be an origin, nothing like that. This is going to be Batman completely fleshed out, but it's also going to be the introduction of Damian Wayne. And
Damian Wayne, who originally was going to play Robin. No, that's pretty good.
And yeah, this is going to be like the father-son movie between Batman as well as the new Robin, because he hasn't seen this Robin for 8 to 10 years of the start of this kid's life. And then one that I'm actually really excited for is the Booster Gold TV series that they announced. So this one, it's like DC's Iron Man almost as well. But this guy's from the future. He has this technology, brings it back in time, and then he tries to act like a superhero, where he's just doing regular things in his time.
Dickhead.
Pratt, we know where Chris Pratt's going to be in then.
Oh, snap. All right.
100%. This is going to be Star-Lord 2, Electric Boogaloo. As well as that, we got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So this will go through actually introduce Supergirl instead of just the TV show. And then we also got a Swamp Thing movie. So I'm assuming this is going to override the Swamp Thing show that came out. And this is going to be a complete reiteration of that.
100%. So just on Swamp Thing, supposedly James Mangold has put his hand up and said, "Yeah, I want that. Give me that."
Yeah.
There is also rumblings that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to voice Swamp Thing. Someone said that he should be Swamp Thing, and he replied back on Twitter saying, "Yeah, let's do it."
I wouldn't mind D'Onofrio
That's-
voice the Swamp Thing.
That's kind of fire as well.
That
Or
is.
we can just get Lance Reddick.
Oh, Lance Reddick, this was like his agent or something like that.
There's two right there.
Thingy. I was thinking, what's his name from Millennium? We were talking about him last time. Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen. Oh,
With
my
the maddest
God.
voice.
That for me, Henriksen's voice is better than what's his face, Freeman's.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's something like that rasp that Henriksen has, but he has like that bass tenor as well about him.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I don't know. There's like this, there's a group of mad voices for monsters that you could use. So it's like Lance Henriksen, Lance Reddick. You got Andre Brower, but then you've got like Sam Elliott.
The best is what's his face. Is Wincott, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's my
Yeah.
man.
Those should all have a voice off.
Oh man.
You know what you should do? You should put them all into a room and say it's an audition, and then just throw an axe on the ground and turn the lights off. Whoever comes
I
out
had to
wins.
kill them.
Everyone would stay in their places because they wouldn't know where anyone is. You would just hear scary voices.
Badly.
But so this is just the actual DCU slate, right? So they've got this, but then they've also got what they've called the Elseworlds category. So from there, they've announced with the Batman 2, that's going to be part of that Elseworlds category, and that's going to be released on the 3rd of October in 2025. So it won't go alongside all of like the narrative that they're painting for their new DCU, but it's still going to follow the original movies. So we've got the Batman Part 2, and this is also going to be in line with, the Joker 2, Folie à Deux, as well as Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Superman, which is still a thing and still going to come around too.
Michael B. Jordan.
True. And
You
as
know
well,
it's gonna be him. He's working over there at bloody WB already.
true.
Probably gonna direct it.
Yeah. He's probably going to put on another 20 pounds of muscle as well. Man's going to be more muscle than head at this point. Pause. But
Yeah.
I brought the muscle with me.
But part of this Elseworlds category, and this one kind of threw me off. I was a little bit turned off by this, was that the Flash is going to be part of Elseworlds, and it's they're still looking for Ezra Miller to possibly continue to play the Flash, and they're really
I thought that was the line that they're still looking for Ezra Miller.
He disappeared at the time.
But it throws me off because they're really banking on him, like on his betterment, and him actually, sorting his stuff out and becoming the Flash again. So I'm just like,
Zaslav would have put the fear of God into that. So Gunn did confirm that he does not want characters who are currently starring in the DCU, Jason Momoa, all those sort of guys, to play a different character in the new DCU. He said he doesn't like that. He said that they always envisioned, Jason always envisioned Aquaman as a trilogy. So it sounds like if Aquaman 2 does well, we'll get an Aquaman 3 and it'll fall under that Elseworld. He touched on what's his name? Henry Cavill, and how he's been dicked around by a whole lot of people. You were one of those people, Gunn. What's his face? Yeah. He said that he doesn't know what Ben Affleck is going to direct. He doesn't know if it's going to be that Batman movie or if it's going to be the Superman movie. He just doesn't know.
Yeah. They also touched on Batgirl being scrapped, and they were like, it was going to damage the DCU. And I was like, that's a pretty big call. But it also makes me really want to see this movie more now as well, because I really just want to see what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's everything there too.
The thing that I'm most excited about, and I know that we got some fire properties. Like I was looking at, because I was researching Creature Commandos. I was like, that actually sounds all right. But this one is injecting Weasel and Rick Flag Sr.
Yeah. Which
they weren't really in the books when they started. They might have come in afterwards because they got like fucking drawn pictures on them. Paradise Lost sounds all right. There was one the Authority. So apparently the Superman film will link directly into the Authority. And this is more the galaxy spanning team.
Hmm.
So in the comics, it was Superman who teamed up with them and they had to go to Warworld. And Superman was losing his powers.
Mm.
And he's fighting in these gladiatorial pits trying to buy time for the Authority to kind of fuck shit up there.
Mm.
And then when they do, Superman ends up getting his powers back, and then they kind of come into the fold of the DCU or the DC universe, the comic books and whatnot. Excited about that. Lantern sounds all right, but when they said True Detective Mystery, I was like, I don't know if, like, you know, the sci-fi and the tone of those shows could survive and they go hand in hand, but it depends who's show running. You know what I mean? Like the showrunner can make the difference completely.
Yeah.
But for me, the thing that I'm most excited about is Supergirl, and I'll tell you why. So in the actual Supergirl story, she's in was a Kandor, right?
Yeah.
She's in Brainiac's fucking lab.
Yeah.
She's living off a chip of Krypton, basically, with her family and a few other people. But she sees everyone get slaughtered. So while Superman's like, hey, I'm like, you know, I'm Superman. I'm living like my best life in Kansas. She's just like living in like just death surrounding her.
Yeah.
Mm.
She's castaway. She's
Yeah.
by herself.
Yeah.
That for
Yeah.
me is what stood out as well. It wasn't Superman, it wasn't Batman, it was her.
Yeah.
Like, that movie, if done correctly, whoa,
Yeah.
would be amazing.
But then that means, is this the Cali whoever that got cast?
I want to say Villa Lobos,
Yeah.
something like
That's
that.
I watched Pulp Fiction a while back, and it shows. I'm not too sure if she's going to get cast in this, or because they do want the Flash to continue. But does that mean that Elseworlds will be completely separate because she's also in there, or will they cast a new Supergirl? Don't know.
Yeah. Gunn also said that The Flash just might be one of the greatest superhero movies ever made.
Yeah. This is getting me like excited. This is the hype that I was talking. Remember, I was saying like, you know, they're saying, oh, the audience scores were through the roof, and I'm like, why would you say that? Like, if you can live with one of these Elseworlds movies dying, don't hype it up.
Yeah.
Why are you hyping it up? I told you not to do that.
It's crazy because they also said that they are open to other studios working with their content. Now there has been a giant push online lately to have Zack Snyder's DCEU go over to Netflix, where Zack is now and seems to be where he'll stay for the rest of his career, and continue that story over there, which is it's telling, right? For them to come out and say that, is crazy, and it'll just be more money for them, which they don't need, because Gunn came out and said it's not a problem of money with this studio. He was like, they want us to do as much as we can here with as much of the budget as we want. So like it's gonna be crazy over there, man.
Yeah. They got Kate Blanchett on this one.
Yeah. What I did like was that he was like, we're gonna have these actors all the way through. So if they're in the movies, they're in animated shows, they're in the games. Which for me was always that weird kind of like, it's Brad Pitt's brother. You know what I mean? Or it's Tom Hanks's brother doing the voice for it or some shit like that. Even the toys and stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Like I like the idea that he came up with, like what happens, like this Superman story starts like 2 years after this one, but what happened in those 2 years?
That's right, yeah.
Superman adventure within those 2 years, which is cool.
Yeah, I like that.
They've got enough studios over there to do it, like game studios to do it and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Could be good.
So for me, who was kind of on a wait and see approach with this, I'm not blown away by it, right? But there's just enough to get me interested.
Yeah.
It's exciting for me, and it's kind of palpable. And what rings true for me is James Gunn coming from Marvel, right? But he took all the B-list superheroes from DC, and now he's laying his foundation with that. Same thing that Marvel did. Same thing that started the MCU. So he's using that exact same format to kind of go, well, let's launch these guys, and then when shit goes crazy, we'll tie it up and we'll add more, like we see with Thanos. We'll add more, like we're seeing with Kang.
Yeah.
Just
This is the way it should have been done.
Yeah.
Initially, that's how it should have been done. I honestly, I was reading what he was saying about Paradise Lost, and if they can get away with having it done like full on Game of Thrones styles, where it's just vicious and just nasty,
Scandalous.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Be a lot of that going on.
They weren't originally an island just with women on it. That's the thing. So we need to see why they went from an island of normal people, where it's men and women on that island, to just women. There's a lot of infighting, backbiting. Sam Fisher.
How you feeling it over there, Raiders?
Yeah, not too bad. I was in the same boat where I'm apprehensive, but I'm also excited for what's to come. Like, it seems like they're starting off pretty safe with going with, like, B-list stuff and then kicking off Superman later on.
Yeah.
But we also don't know between when Superman comes out to when these series prior are coming as well. So it could just be like, hey, it's like, here's your 6-month lead up to Superman or some shit, and it's just both series within those 2-3 month hits.
They are no doubt hitting that Comic-Con hard 2024. That's going to be your first look at Superman. And for me, right, the only thing that sells me on Superman is him flying. And every time I've got an iteration of Superman, it's a new version of him fucking flying.
Yeah.
And that to me gets me. The Reeves one, when he's flying, he goes across the globe like that.
Across the globe?
Yeah, sells me. When they do it in Superman Returns and they showed him flying with the plane like that, sold me in that trailer. When he goes supersonic in the Man of Steel trailer, sold me. So this one is going to have to do something that just like blows my mind. You know what I mean? And it's not hard to do.
It just needs to be the right actor.
Yeah.
I don't want
Chalamet.
no.
Well, I didn't know anything about Ralph when he started. Anything about Cavill when he started. I had to go back and say, the little motherfucker of Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, but when you look at them physically, they have the physical attributes that you expect from Superman.
Yeah.
Yes, Henry Cavill was a little bit shorter than Superman should have been.
He sold it.
We got it done.
Yeah.
And admittedly, the first time that we saw Henry Cavill was not him flying.
No, it was the bank vault.
Smashed up against the bank vault. Beautiful.
Yeah.
He needs to be tall. He needs to have a really, really solid body on him. It can't be all suit.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
just needs to not look like a girl.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like he's from Kansas. We want we want the
worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lifted tractors. The Kents had him lifting shit, you know what I mean? That they would need to get a tractor in there for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as well as that, there needs to be a little bit of almost uncomfortability when you see him actually wearing suits and shit when he goes to the Daily Bugle and stuff like that. Cavill actually looks really good in the farmer's getup too. Like he suits the Kansas life.
Yeah, he looked too Like he didn't pull off Clark Paws, but he didn't pull off Clark Kent very well.
There was no difference.
Yeah.
No difference.
Yeah.
Just glasses. Whereas Reeves's portrayal like works so well.
Mhm.
Mm.
Like Reeves's portrayal of Superman is almost bloody what's his face. That's Oscar worthy. Like
Yeah.
he looks different. His mannerisms is different. Everything is different.
Mm.
And then as soon as those bloody the suit comes off, pause, and the other one comes on, he's Superman. Like you actually feel like he's Superman. It's amazing.
But the thing with those movies as well is that they took the time to show you that they were two different people as well. Like when he gets stuck up with Lois when he's Clark, and and you see him get the shot, and then everything goes from there. And Lois is like just disappointed almost when she sees Clark. Like, you're a wuss.
Mm.
And then seeing him again as Superman, not knowing.
Man, caught that bullet, goddamn
Yeah. Man's hands were strong. I was gonna say too, you know, the bank vault Cavill? You know how I got that for my 21st birthday? It's still in my wardrobe in the plastic. Mint condition. Yeah.
Nice. There was also another announcement there, Beatty.
Yes, there was.
There was.
One of the biggest announcements of the week for me.
But something was in the way. You know what I mean?
All right, so it's confirmed. Amazon said, yep, season 2 a terminal list, we are a go. And not just that, out of nowhere, Jeffrey came through, Mr. Bezos came through and said, hey, you want some more terminal lists? We're going to give you a prequel series with what's his face, Taylor Kitsch. And not just Taylor Kitsch, Jimmy Reese and all them other people is coming through, and they're going to show up in the show as well. Fire.
Yeah.
This is what I want. That Jack Carr's on it straight away. So is Fuqua and bloody Chris Pratt, all executive producing. Come on now.
That's the bag.
That's it.
On like a serious note, how many people turned up for the terminal list when it first aired, and they fucked up and they just saw Tom Hanks?
Jeez.
This is the terminal. I still haven't watched that first season. I got to get on that.
Oh, it's fire, son.
Absolutely fire. It's good. It really is good. That other piece of news was the Batman 2, Part 2. I don't know if they go on that title.
T-Dog told him.
Did you?
Yeah. So after the slate, I just quickly said, you know, it's announced for October 3rd, 2025.
Ah, where was I? I was just like disappeared for a second there.
Oh, I did talk a lot more at the end of that piece as well, so I was probably just rambling.
What's his face? What do you always want? Superman with the trucks. The Superman without the trunks. Pause.
For me, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's whatever doesn't feel cosplay-ish.
Because if you the undies on the outside,
I don't like it either, and they don't really need it. Like, I seen Superman today in a fucking, like, he had a t-shirt on
with just the black t-shirt with just the S.
No, it was like a blue t-shirt. It looked like he was wearing some Under Armour fucking Rock branded t-shirt or something. But it had the S on there, and he was flying with the Authority.
You know, originally that's what John Peters wanted. Huh? Didn't want that suit.
It needs to be iconic. That's the only thing. If you're calling a fucking movie Superman Legacy, it needs to be the iconic suit. I don't care, trunks or not, whatever kind of works. But
so you got your trunks on there, my friend.
You know what I mean? Superman Tay.
I don't know. For me, one of the suits I really liked was the Superman in the New 52. How it's got the collar on his actual suit as well. He doesn't have the trunks.
Yeah. He doesn't have the trunks. Yeah, he doesn't have the trunks either.
All the trunks do in live action is make people think, what dick size does he have? Legit. Because that's what people focus on. They're like, oh, did you put socks in there? And then it's a fucking news story. And then people are like, oh, no, it's quite small in the bulge. But in the movie, they changed it digitally.
What?
You know what I mean?
People looking there.
That's what people are doing for Namor. So
my God.
when the trailers came out, he was packing. But then when the movie came out, obviously kids in the cinema, they didn't want big old Submariner dick on there. Changed it digitally.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, homies.
Disrespected on the more like that.
Badly. Tenok knows what's up though.
What do you call it? You know, homie was pulling the pickup line saying you're about to get submarinated.
Submarinated. That's a wild line.
Shit.
Super saucy episode. Super size too. Pause. All right, that's a wrap on all the news. Big old half a week there.
Yeah. We did have a big week this week. Quite a lot of news.
Yeah. But also a supersized episode of Last of Us, episode 3, titled Long, Long Time.
Long, long time ago.
This one was it was a deviation from the game. So this one was about Bill and Frank's relationship, which is kind of like an afterthought in the game. You kind of find out little tidbits, but nothing, you don't get to see anything, right?
No.
This shows you everything, but it also changes things up from the game in that Bill actually meets his fate in this episode differently than he does in the game. So going in, so when I seen that, hey, they can actually commit a whole episode, 76 minutes. It's not just going to be a normal sized episode. It's actually going to be a bit longer.
Yeah.
And I was like, this could go really, really badly. This could be the most wokest sort of virtue signaling episode of anything that we've ever seen. I was worried about it. I was genuinely worried about it because I thought they were just going to take things off the rail. But I was wrong.
I was happily surprised.
I was really happily surprised. Because what started off as me going, well, I've never kissed someone full on the mouth with a beard. Like, that would be uncomfortable. Because I know when Jules and the boys, when I kiss them, they're like, that beard is horrible. Just straight away, I was like, that'd be uncomfortable as shit. But you know what? Like, the deeper the episode got, I got invested in a relationship, and it wasn't played for I'm gay.
Well, it at one point it stopped being about them being two men for me.
That's right.
They were two people who sort of fell in love.
What I liked was that they cut through the bullshit quick.
Yeah.
Like, they showed, they hooked up, and you kind of like, and then happily ever after, right? And then it's like straight away cuts to a fight.
Yeah.
And it's a normal couple fight.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved everything that came from that. Because you had real moments. It wasn't this bullshit. And there's this whole thing, because the whole episode was about contradictions.
Yeah.
And how Bill is this fucking doomsday prepper, but he's also a gay man. Like, those two types, really don't go together sometimes.
They shouldn't. And
No.
he's a massive conspiracy theorist and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And it's almost like the left and the right sort of coming together. Yeah.
And that first portion of the episode was really about someone who was extremely closeted. I personally think it was because he had an overbearing mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who liked to keep everything in its place, which is why he's still got the piano. He's still got the old crochet blanket hanging over the couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's extremely focused on everything in its place, but then he was probably forced to his own sort of surroundings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got that little doomsday prepper block underneath there, and that's where things kind of started for Bill.
Yeah.
Do you think Bill killed his mom?
I think she had died way before that, but he's been waiting for this day because of that, because she was probably the last person that he had any real sort of connection with.
Yeah.
Like imagine that, and then prepping for when the end of the world happens. I've got all these solutions. He's like the fences, locking down the town, getting his own natural gas, like getting supplies. Like he's planned this for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And now she's out of she's passed away. The people leave, which is probably a big old plus for him.
Oh man.
because he doesn't want to deal with his sexuality, other people. You know what I mean? So for him, this is a dream. And like all relationships, they create that complication where you've got to go, well, I've got to put my shit to the side. Not to the side, but I've got to address it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just going to envelop everything.
You in that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he really gets a chance to kind of be himself with Frank.
Yeah.
I love how polar, like just polar opposite Frank was to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very much one of those opposites attract type situations.
And we're gonna have friends. Friends.
I've been talking to a woman on the radio. The fuck?
Oh man,
So-
Offerman just put on a powerhouse, man.
Yeah.
He really did.
I love the so when they do have that moment of I was speaking to this woman on the radio and then Tess and Joel show up and they're eating lunch together outside. Seems like a very neighbory suburban type deal. And then as Tess and Frank go inside, you see Nick Offerman and Joel and they're having just a very just normal conversation for what the apocalypse would do.
Yeah.
And I love that because Joel's there saying I'd do the exact same thing. And he's speaking very generally. And then he's just get that gun out of my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that you only saw Joel sort of eating with the one hand.
Yeah.
I thought Joel had a gun in his other hand.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
they left, he would have put his gun on the table then.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've had you since the start of the
The shit's chestnut checkers.
It's crazy how Joel knew immediately how to manipulate him as well.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He knew.
I can get you 10 spools of galvanized aluminium that'll last you the rest of your life. And he's picking out all of my weaknesses and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because now he knows he's got to look after Frank.
Yeah.
Murray Bartlett killed it.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the Last of Us podcast, and Murray Bartlett, gay, middle-aged man. I was like, all right, cool. I didn't know that. Aussie. He's the Aussie guy from White Lotus.
Okay.
Yeah. The director, also Aussie. He's a gay, middle-aged man. The editor is a gay, middle-aged man. They had so much sort of inclusion on the set. But what was really, really cool is Druckmann and Craig Mazin actually went to these O's. The people that they thought were the best people for the job. They obviously didn't hire them because they were gay. That was just
Just how it panned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And went to them, what fits, what doesn't look right. You know what I mean? So it's getting that input. Because Druckmann's straight.
Yeah.
And that kind of fed into it as well. That relationship be as authentic as possible. And the reason why he kind of went to those guys specifically is because Bill and Frank are middle-aged guys.
Yeah.
So for them, they wanted to see, all right, well, what does a gay relationship look like long-term?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, we don't ever get to see that. For some
That's right.
reason, we never get to see it. It's always The Sopranos, where they're in the clubs, and all that sort of stuff, and then you see a glimpse of it very, very quickly in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
But then what's his face leaves? Vito leaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then starts denying that he was gay again, which is crazy.
Well, that. I think those are the only two types. It's the closeted gay and the flamboyant gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched that Uncle Frank movie on Amazon. And in there, Paul Bettany has the same partner throughout the whole movie, and that movie spans years too.
Okay.
Yeah, and
How did that compare to this though?
it was very much the same, if I'm being
Okay.
honest. Like there was a bit more flamboyancy in Uncle Frank compared to this, but that's because they're living in that, like, that very pride life at that time in those years too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in the heart of New York City and things
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
So very different culture.
In the village in there.
Yeah. And so still very similar, but also a little bit different.
Them Stonewall guys.
Big old shout out to Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was really, really mad to kind of see the old arcade machines again.
Yeah.
You also get to see a bit of Ellie's kind of her anger coming out.
Yeah.
That whole piece about her kind of going down to that basement, finding, was that tampons or what?
Yeah. Tampax. Rocket
and
pads.
And then, killing that clicker, which is the only clicker that you really see in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides the one that shows up on the camera. With,
okay.
with Bill when the alarm goes off. I think for me, going through like this episode too, like when you were talking about the overbearing mother and things like that, and then when Bill and Frank are having that conversation, and sorry, before we get into this, probably should talk about like the when Joel talks about like there will be raiders, they will come at night, and then
They'll
that
sneak in and take your shit.
and that all eventuates, and it's nighttime, and the alarms go off, and then all of the traps start going off, which was cool. It's kind of fire, and you see Frank run out there, and Bill's already on charge, rifle out, trying to shoot at all these guys.
Yeah.
And I thought this was where this episode was going to end, with Bill getting shot, and this is how they change. This is how they change it from the game. Frank stays alive, but Bill dies.
Yeah.
The like he really armed that place like unbelievably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he had a plan in place. He knew where he needed to stand. Like he knew everything. He knew where they'd come from.
Yeah.
It's just weird, right? Because I mean, do you think he would have blamed Joel and Tess for those raiders?
Possibly, but did he put the fence up already? The new fence.
Yeah.
Because at that point they had been trading, and I'm pretty sure they were trading. Were they?
Yeah, that was after.
Yeah. So
they could have.
So it was what, 3 years, and then he meets Frank, and then another 3, and then Tess and Joel come into it, and then obviously after that evening it's another 10 or 14
years.
10
years, yeah.
So either they've just put up the fence shortly after meeting with Tess and Joel and doing the trading, or it was within that 10-year jump that it has changed as well.
Yeah.
Because Joel does talk about like he's done things that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
I did like at the start of the episode that they confirmed how the infection was spread, just like through the flour and whatnot. So I'd watched New Rockstars, his breakdown of the second episode where he was talking about it and how Iburat is like a substrate because flour is a substrate, and that's where the workers were in the Philippines. And the Philippines has the biggest flour mill in the world that supplies to everyone.
Yeah, they do.
But I didn't want to bring it up on the pod because we hadn't learned that in the show, and like all these other podcasts were like saying, "Oh, it looks like flour is what's his face," but when he says like the pancake mix and how Sarah didn't eat any of the cookies because she hates oatmeal raisin, and how Joel didn't bring cake home and whatnot. It's just like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was confirmed. You also kind of get to see a bit of how shifty Fedra was in those early days. It was disgusting.
Oh. And you know that would happen right now.
Yeah.
This would have happened right now. If there's no place on the bus, we're not leaving you to change. We killing you right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really, really disgusting. But it just showed you like the kind of the construct that they were living in, the government ordained construct.
But it was what's his face brings that up as well. Frank brings it up as well. Like, you don't want to be out there with those Nazis, and like they're not all Nazis. Like,
Yeah.
they were Nazis then, and they're Nazis now. Like,
yeah. So, like we mentioned, we do the time jump, and we see Frank is sick, and with the loss of his legs, I don't know if it was cancer or if it was something like ALS, like Lou Gehrig's.
Yeah.
You lose control of your limbs, things like that.
Yeah.
What's it called? MS.
MS. Yeah. So
MS.
Druckmann and Mason said they weren't going to be specific about it. It was going to they were just going to leave it to be either MS or ALS, but they weren't defining it at that point. Yeah.
Okay. And you know, you see the struggle that Frank's going through, and you see the pain that Bill's going through, and then they go to sleep that night, and you see Frank sitting in his wheelchair the next morning, and he's like, "It took me all night to get here."
God damn it.
And then Frank begins to explain that today's his last day. And when I first thought that, I was like, does he know that he's going to die or something?
Same.
But then they start having that conversation, and it sounds like they've had this conversation before, because Frank's planned out the whole day. Frank said, you know, you're going to take me for a walk. We're going to go to the boutique store. You're going to wear whatever I tell you to wear.
I love how he was.
Yeah.
You're going to cook me a delicious dinner.
Oh, they said they got married first.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're going to cook me a delicious dinner. And then you're going to pour me a glass of wine, and you're going to crush up all these pills. You're going to take me to bed, and I'm going to fall asleep in your arms. At that point, I was already just sobbing, my eyes out. I was in.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that Nick Offerman was fucking killing it too.
Yeah, and also that they played Max Richter during that bit. It's the same piece of score from Arrival as well. I was just like...
But it was just beautiful, like, you know, understandably it's a very morbid scene, but like just two partners like speaking together and like discussing all this kind of stuff. It's heartbreaking, but it was like tonally perfect for everything that was going on. You could see the love there too.
And the fact that he made him that very same meal from the first day.
Yeah.
When they first ate that meal, they were like miles apart, essentially, right? So he was at the head of one side, and Frank was at the other end, right?
Yeah.
And then in this scene, that they've switched it. So he's sitting. Frank is still at the head, and he's sitting on his right. It's beautiful.
Yeah. What's his face? Fuck, what was I gonna say? Also like that in that one day they were trying to recapture the perfect moments of probably what spanned like a 20-year relationship.
Yeah. What do you call it? Wonder what I wanted to brush on as well when we were speaking about the overbearing mother and things like that. For me, when Bill's talking to Frank at the end there, and he's like, I finally found you, and you were my purpose. You know, him going through his life, it must have been so tough with his mom, and having all those secrets just bottling for all those years, and finally having it out, and then finding someone who's not the same, but they can connect like that. And him finally having something like a reason.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. At first, so within a couple of hours, this episode actually dipped below the critic rating, which I don't go by at all. Like I'll watch the shit. Dipped below the average critic rating of the other two episodes. But after like a couple of days, I think it's one of the highest rated episodes on TV.
It's the only real sort of. You don't even want to like pigeonhole it by calling it a gay relationship. It's
No.
one of the realer relationships we've seen on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's that, and then Omar with his partner.
Yeah. And even that small bit in the old guard as well.
Oh man, that was beautiful as
when
well.
Jafar's talking about his partner as well. That was really good. I don't know his actual name. I keep forgetting it, but yeah, it was just so good, man, to see all of that. And finally, that's where that deviation sort of kicks in. And no, like Bill or Frank, neither of them survived.
I love that he was calm and poured both of them a glass of wine, and then I would have put the pills in first myself, but still.
You had to show Frank that he wasn't killing himself.
I would have put the crushed up pills in the glass first and then poured the wine on the.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, otherwise you get clumps. What's going on here, mate? But yeah, like you see him do all that. You see Frank just like down his glass of wine. You see Bill do his that he's poured. Basically tell him, he can't live without him. And Frank realizing already and telling him, you already put it in the bottle of wine, didn't you? Yeah.
Enough to kill a horse.
Yeah. A horse. Oh man.
Yeah.
It didn't come off as like overly romantic or like something that you could just kind of like hallmark.
It wasn't.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel that forced either.
No.
Yeah. I love his.
He knew what he was going to do already.
Yeah. I love that Frank was like, at another time I'd be furious, but this is also extremely romantic.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it weird that like after Joel and Ellie come through and they find the letter, which is like a really cool letter. I love that Bill, sorry, was so honest. Like I never liked you, Joel. But I know that you're trustworthy.
And you're a
so the end of that letter, because you know how it stops when he's like Tess, whatever. So the end of that letter is like, I also know that anyone that does get in your way probably deserves it. I was like, all right, well that to me is the character of Joel right there.
Joel with T.
But yeah, me a little bit morbidly was kind of I wanted to see inside that room. I wanted to see what happened, but also I can understand that the last scene that you see of Bill and Frank shouldn't be the death scene. It should be a long-lasting kind of relationship. Even if Murray Bartlett looked like Jordan Peterson to a fucking T.
Yeah.
I got JP for this.
How tank was Murray Bartlett as well?
He's in shape.
Shape, man.
Yeah. Dude was killing it in the gym.
Yeah, striations and everything.
Yeah. Starving for months seems like the best plan that somebody could have.
Fighting for your life.
But it also answers a lot of questions with the introduction of Bill and Frank as well. This is what I forgot to mention. With Frank talking to Tess, he talks about the radio. It's like, I want to talk about the decades. If it's 80s, it's trouble. And then shortly after, when Ellie and Joel arrive, they finally explain that, you know, if Bill wasn't here to actually turn off the radio, this is what would play too.
Yeah.
I also liked in the episode, you didn't get to see it really in the game besides anger sort of coming out, that Joel actually mourned Tess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes the little rock pile for her.
Yeah.
He, like, you know, he sheds a tear for her in that last scene as well. So, like, you know, those hard edges, it's like that was almost the last barrier for him to kind of keep his distance from Ellie.
Yeah.
And now they're bound together.
I was going to say as well, like after that moment, you see him just like pull back and then it's just cold.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't need to know about your personal life. You don't need to know about me.
Yeah.
Which she's going to break in that first 15 minutes of that car ride anyway. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know,
But it's cool that they also incorporated some of that love of space and the stars and sort of astral travel and all that.
yeah.
Overall, this was so good, this episode for me.
It was definitely a deviation, but one that Neil Druckmann, Craig Mazin had right. Because for them, the rule is always, all right, if we're going to do a deviation, it better be better than the original source material.
Yeah.
And even by way of a 67-minute, 70-minute sort of detour where you don't focus on the protagonist of your show, the outcome for that part of the game is still the same.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100% the same.
So like, I think they did a lot and they were pretty bold by actually focusing on these two sort of subsidiary characters that you don't really get to spend that much time with in the game anyways.
Yeah.
But still reinforces the humanity of, I still need to find love. It's still the central theme of the show, of the game, is love, but within these really shitty circumstances. You know what I mean?
Love and forgiveness and all that sort of stuff. What's this place? HBO does this a lot though, where there's always like one episode that deals with like some fringe character that's just out of the way. Sopranos did it. There was one every season that they would do. It'd be like, nope, this is the episode where we do whatever we want to do now. We will tell a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear to God, it's the same car at the end.
From the game?
Yeah. Is it the same car? It looks like the same car.
Pretty sure it is. Yeah.
It's the same shitty, what does he call it? Chevy something.
Yeah.
Z10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember from the game as well, and I don't know if it was just an optional thing that occurs only if you pick it up, but I think it's Ellie or Joel gives Bill that letter from Frank or something like that. And Bill's reading it and he's like, oh, Frank, you son of a bitch, or something like that. He's crying and reading it. But no, this was so good to get it fleshed out, getting all the information perfect. I'm officially locked in now.
Well, yeah. It's 3 for 3 for me.
Yeah.
It's a real sturdy. It's coming out the gate real strong.
It is real sturdy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Get sturdy.
I don't know what they're gonna do with that second season, to be honest. Like, if this season is as good as I feel it's gonna be, that second season is gonna be trash compared to this.
Yeah.
There is gonna be a slump that is just
That's what I think until I realize we've got it's Mazin and Druckmann. And I know that the second season, the deviations are going to be even bigger.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. That is a wrap
It was a
on the
big old
whole.
episode.
Yeah, it was. But on Sunday, we won't be getting no like DC news and all this. And
Unless I don't know. I saw Vin Diesel post that poster.
Yeah, he did. He did. He
Yeah.
posted that.
I'm honestly waiting for Vin Diesel to have the Vin Diesel universe as well.
Believe me, it's coming.
The
All of his
VDU.
stuff's over there at Universal anyway. You'll be Riddick. You'll be Toretto. You'll be everyone.
And
Yeah.
they'll all come together in the final chapter where you'll play every character in the one movie.
Paid like for every single one of those characters.
It'll be like Find Me Guilty or something. That'll be
I
that.
think that's a Universal movie too.
Probably. All right. All right. All right. So we'll be back on Sunday. Catch us on all social media: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Also, our handles are all in the description. Give us a like, a subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your dad, even if you didn't step out for milk. But yeah, love yourself. Love movies.
Vape more, smoke less, and wash your ass.